do you see as the role of visual arts in today's society, particularly in your profession? We live in a very visual world. The 24-hour news channels bring everything that's happening right into our living rooms and everywhere else all day and all night. Image is everything, and most people try to craft some sort of image for themselves that may or may not be grounded in reality. A singer can make up for a complete lack of musical talent if they look good or at least interesting on television, video, or in magazines. Images have always been carefully crafted. Hollywood was the first to really take advantage of visual media to create images for their stars that were often 360 degrees opposite from reality. Oddly enough, radio tried to do the same thing by creating characters and personalities that the audience could see in their minds. Musicians have always tried to create an image for themselves through their album covers and later through the music videos, which I'm told still exist but haven't seen one on MTV or VH1 in years. Good websites have to have visual elements, particularly if you're marketing a product, and social media has everyone trying to impress with their latest pictures and videos. We are bombarded with images from the time we get up to the time we go to bed. New communications and media technologies make imagery almost instantly available. Do you believe that this is having a positive or negative influence on your field or industry? And could you provide an example? Both. People today have all the information in the world available at their fingertips. When I was a kid, if you wanted to see a famous painting or photograph, you had to go to the library and hope you could find something in the encyclopedia. If you wanted to find out about a certain artist or genre of art, or time in history, you might have to search through several volumes to find what you need, and you were limited to what was available. That limited your knowledge, but also required you to be resourceful. Today, you can enter a search term into your phone and get 9 million hits in a nanosecond. Sites like Flickr or Shutterfly let you travel around the world, see the world's great museums and natural wonders, and never leave your chair. Having instant access to information is great, but I think it tends to make us lazy too. I think having to, or even better, getting to, explore and search for something makes finding it a lot more satisfying. With everything so easy to find, we tend to look on everything as disposable, and we don't appreciate everything that is available to us. We also tend to want everything now. Students think that they are going to walk out of school and right into a six-figure job that's just not reality. What popular images do you see that are frequently repeated throughout your industry? We repurpose just about everything, but some of the images that get repeated a lot are the more iconic album covers, photographs, and artwork that come from the 60s and early 70s. The Beatles' Abbey Road album cover has probably been recreated and spoofed more than any other album cover in history. The same goes for Andy Warhol's Campbell's Soup paintings. Famous photographs of Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Marilyn Monroe, and scenes from Woodstock are now considered collectible works of art. And there are bands like the Rolling Stones and The Who that have turned their logos into cottage industry, and those are endlessly repurposed, reused, and spoofed around the world. The Walt Disney Company has done the same thing with its stable of animation characters, especially Mickey Mouse. How has your knowledge of famous artworks influenced your creative process? Obviously, color and composition are very important to a lighting designer, whether you're trying to do subtle lighting of a theatrical set or big and loud lighting of a rock and roll show. What I know about those elements of classical artwork has certainly helped over the years, but I tend to draw a little more from other areas like photography and animation. In fact, I describe my creative process in terms of creating snapshots and extremes, which are terms from those disciplines. I also try to keep my work very clean with a lot of straight lines and try to use a limited color palette when creating those looks, since too much color in lighting tends to turn everything into a mushy brown soup. The knowledge that I have of famous artwork, and I've been fortunate to visit some of the world's great art museums and see them in person, has an influence on my creative process, but I draw inspiration from many different areas. Who is one of your favorite visual artists, and or what is your favorite style of visual art? Most of what I learned early on about art I learned from Monty Python. The same goes for classical music and PDQ box, so my taste may be a little bit warped. But I do like color and I do like action. I like very bold colors and vivid imagery, so some of my favorite artists have been people like Alexander Calder, Leroy Neiman, Robert Indiana, and Peter Max. Names that probably make art purists scream, but who work on a grand scale and whose colors wake up my brain and stimulate my senses in ways that are important to my creative process. I like the work of Robert Weiland and his oceanscapes, which are always very colorful.